See this right here? This is a Diet Mountain Dew. Five calories per bottle. Technically keto friendly. This past week was another difficult week, but better in some ways, which I'll talk about in a second. But last week, I went to Arizona and had an amazing, fun time down there because I challenged Chris and Heidi Powell to a couple of different food challenges. Heidi Powell I challenged to a marshmallow dream bar challenge because she eats one marshmallow dream bar per day. She loves Starbucks. She goes there every day and gets a marshmallow dream bar. And so I said, hey, I'm going to come out there to Arizona. Let's do a fun marshmallow dream bar challenge. So she accepted my challenge, and she's super competitive. So it was very fun, very entertaining because she really was trying to beat me. And it was so funny because here I am doing my Fit2Fat2Forty Journey, eating 6,600 calories a day. And I think I ate 9 marshmallow dream bars. So I still kicked her butt. She ate 7 though, which was amazing. But the fact that she ate 7 was super impressive. I was really impressed. And, she did make a good point. Pound for pound, who won? That's a different metric. We won't talk about that. But I thought she was going to eat 1 and be super full and throw in the towel. But obviously that didn't happen. She, kept up with me, which is pretty interesting. But it was a very fun, entertaining food challenge. Felt like crap afterwards. I think my blood sugar levels went from 72 to 186 after that, which was insane. Just way too much sugar, and I was so disgusted with them after that. And the funny thing was that I think it broke her addiction. I think after that she skipped a day at least of not having a marshmallow dream bar for the first time in 5 years, right? So that was fun. And then the other food challenge with Chris was not as competitive, but it was still fun because it was an all-you-can-eat meat challenge at a Brazilian steakhouse where they come around with the meat and they, put the meat in front of you, and you just keep your thing on green so that they just keep coming and coming. So Chris kept up with me for about 10 minutes, and then he threw in the towel, and then he brought his kids along, which he thought would be fun to tag team. So his son Cash and his daughter Ruby joined in, competed against me for a little bit. They could hang for a little bit. And then he brought in his dad for further reinforcements, and I still beat all of them. So I took on the whole Powell pack, and it was fun. It was entertaining. I definitely had the meat sweats, for I don't know how many hours afterwards, but pretty much the rest of the night. And when you're in the Arizona heat at 105 degrees, I was sweating all the time. And when you're heavier, this is what I noticed, is being heavier, you're just sweating. I feel like I'm sweating all the time, and I feel super uncomfortable. So I took 3 showers a day because I don't like the feeling of feeling dirty. So I showered 3 times because I just was sweating all the time. But it was kind of fun to team up with them. They're good friends. We've been friends for years, and that was a fun little trip. That was the first time I've traveled since the pandemic. Obviously, the thing with traveling, though, going on a different time zone was, my sleep even got worse that week. So my sleep has been crap since I started this journey. And then it got even crappier being in Arizona, not sleeping well, having the meat sweats all night. So that was pretty rough. I was pretty rough afterwards. And, being able to handle stress is not good when you're sleep deprived. Any parent that knows how it is having a baby, like when you're sleep deprived, you're not the same version of yourself. You're just in total survival mode. You're how can I do something that has zero stress? I will do whatever it takes to not be put in a stressful situation, because handling a baby, which is a stressful situation where they're crying all night and you're trying to get them to calm down, you don't know what they want, that is super high stress. And then you have to go deal with stress of work and other kids maybe, or your relationship with your spouse or your significant other, or life gets harder when your hormones are off, when you're sleep deprived. And that's what I've noticed is my relationship with my daughters, I'm less patient with them. My relationship with Julie, I'm less patient with her. And it's already a stressful situation. So this kind of, made it even worse. But I did start my dirty keto this week, and that was very interesting because I wanted this phase of the journey for the next month. I'll be showing people how not to do keto, paleo, vegan, and vegetarian, those popular diets out there. So I'm going to be making those mistakes that people make on keto. And that's what I did this past week. So I ate a lot of like cheese on every meal, literally, and low quality dairy, not like grass-fed cows. It's like the low quality stuff. A ton of low quality meats. So bacon, salami, pepperoni, ground beef, like the highest fat content of ground beef I could find. These processed lunch meats, all these cheap quality foods out there that, you can still lose weight on that stuff. You can still lose weight on dirty keto. I know people that have, but is it the healthiest thing for you? Probably not. And I was at eating 5,500 calories per day during this week. So not a lot. That's the thing. I would get nauseous sometimes when you eat a lot of fat, copious amounts of fat. It can make you feel a little bit nauseous at first if you're not used to it. So going from 1,000 grams of carbs per day to 50 grams of carbs per day, I couldn't get in as many calories. There's 9 calories per gram of fat versus 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates. So even though it's more calorically dense, it was harder to eat more than before. So that was interesting. The other thing that I will say about being on dirty keto, even though it's less healthy in my opinion than a cleaner version of keto, my sleep improved. For the first time on this journey, my Whoop app right here was in the green for one night this week, which was pretty impressive. And the other nights have been, higher yellow, so not red like they've been, when I was eating all those carbohydrates. So, and the other thing is my glucose levels, tracking those on my CGM device here, was really cool because my glucose, I didn't get like a blood sugar spike and crash. And that was really interesting. So it was pretty level throughout the day. So I didn't feel those horrible effects of like those spikes and then those crashes. It was pretty even this week. So there were some good things about, even though I was in a state of ketosis, like, my sleep improved, my blood sugar was more stable. And I just stepped on the scale this morning and my weight went down. So that was not expected. I was expecting to gain weight because the whole point was to show you can still gain weight on keto, even though it's a dirty version of keto. You can still gain weight on keto and actually lost weight, which was really interesting. And I want people to understand that just because I lost weight doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to be healthier. I'm doing my blood work with Dr. Michael Cobble here in Utah. He's going to draw my blood after this whole week of keto to see how how my blood work changes, even though I'm doing dirty keto. So that'll be interesting to see how that changed after just 1 week. And then I'm also testing my body fat. We'll see if my guess is that still went up. My waist went up 1.5 inches. So my belly's getting bigger. So how is it possible I lost weight? Well, that's what the thing with you, when you transition into ketosis, you lose water weight mostly. And that, especially that first week, because you go from 1,000 grams of carbs like I was to 50 grams of carbs. Your body's going to get rid of a lot of water. So this week, I felt like I didn't feel as big and I couldn't eat as much food. And so I felt like that water weight was a factor for sure. So that's pretty interesting. I think people hopefully take it the right way. And I don't want people to just go and dive into dirty keto and be like, see, it doesn't matter. Keto, even though you tried to gain weight, you lost weight. Because my guess is if I did this for a few more weeks, the weight would have crept back up for sure. So it was really interesting. This is all a fun experiment. This whole thing is educational for everyone to follow along. So next week I do dirty paleo I teamed up with Mark Sisson to teach me how to do a dirty version of paleo. And so that'll start next week. So more stuff to come. The mental and emotional side of this journey is still really hard. And it's hard on my girlfriend, Julie. We've had some rough times this past whole month. Like it's been really hard on her. And I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. I'm still about 3 months away. So yeah, this is where I have to buckle down and really dig deep. Similar to my 100-mile run that I did 3 months ago. That was only 24 hours of hell. This is 4 months of hell. But it was a similar mentality where I just had to remind myself that this pain, this uncomfortable feeling is temporary. And I feel like I've trained my brain to be able to do that. And I feel like me and my body, we have an agreement to do these hard things, which are not healthy. The 100-mile run wasn't healthy. What I'm doing right now is not healthy. But I feel like me and my body have an agreement to, we know the greater good that will come out of this. And I know that this is just something that I have to dig deep mentally and let myself know that this will be over eventually and I'll be exercising again and be healthy again. But look what good is going to come out of it. I know there's going to be a lot of good. This is going to be, I think it's going to inspire a lot of people and create a movement in the fitness industry like no one's ever seen before. And so for that, I'm excited. For that, this is worth it. So more to come. Week 7 next week. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys next time.